Here's someone we can rip. No, I'm just kidding. I'm trying to.
I know where we're going here, but this is yeah.
So, well, it's funny. Like and by
To a
the
place
way,
where there were balloons around the press conference backdrop, right? That's where we're headed.
that's where we're headed. I want to say this though. We're going to preview the two non-weekend games in a couple minutes here, and then on Friday's show, we're going to tape Friday morning for a full weekend preview. So just to give you guys a sense of what's to come on the agenda here, I want to talk a little bit about Bill Belichick. Albert and I have not spoken to each other about Micah Parsons yet. That happened over. We both wrote, we both did video, we both did all that stuff independently because we were out with our families on Labor Day weekend. So I want to put a bow on that really quickly because I do think that discourse has shifted in a really interesting way. And then we're going to get to Chiefs, Chargers, and we're going to get to Dallas and Philly. But just very quickly, I mean, I've been told that I'm a very negative person. I read the comments recently on a couple of YouTube videos that said that I'm the most negative NFL analyst in the business, which shocked me a little bit, made me hurt my feelings a little bit, and so I'm trying to become less of a because you do get a little bit of Schadenfreude when you watch something like North Carolina and TCU last night. There's just something inherently funny about it, but I will try to be a little bit nicer. But my God, you have Lawrence Taylor, Michael Jordan. You have like every North Carolina luminary. You drive down the field on the first possession and you score, and the place is just like bzz, 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 like going bonkers. And then TCU beats the ever-loving shit out of you for 4 quarters. And after the game, the 73-year-old Bill Belichick gives a press conference under like a Southern wedding display of ridiculous balloons. Like it looked like a
Who do you
gender
think
reveal.
designed that?
I think we know exactly who designed that. Someone in his life who's probably a little bit more interested in balloons, a little bit closer to balloon age than the head coach. But so inherently, it's funny. Inherently, it's funny. But here's my one takeaway, and then I'm gonna stop. This is something that relates to all aspects of life, and we've all met people like this. And I'm not talking about as much about Bill as I am some of the people in his inner circle. When they went to North Carolina, what did they say? We're going to be the 33rd team. We're going to be the NFL prep squad. Like no other team's doing it the NFL way. We're going to do it the NFL way, and we're going to build an NFL style program. We all have someone in our lives who, you and I are sports writers. We know someone who's not a sports writer and who would be like, well, if I was a sports writer, I'd walk in and do it like this. Or if I was a lawyer, I'd go walk in and do it like this. And sometimes those people actually get a chance to do it. And they're destructive lunatics and idiots that destroy a lot of things. I'm not saying this is Bill and his circle, but I do think that there's that little bit of hubris that needs to get corrected when you think, oh, I'm just a good technical fundamental coach and I'm going to be fine in college football. You're not. And that's what we saw.
It was, and I love Charlie Weiss, but it reminded me of what Charlie Weiss said 20 years ago when he got to Notre Dame, right? Like where it was like, we're gonna have a decided schematic advantage. That phrase is like burned in my head.
Yeah.
And, when you put yourself out there like that and you say things like that, you're basically calling into question the credentials of a lot of other people. And I think when Mike Lombardi goes on the McAfee show and starts calling Carolina the 33rd team, we're trying to be the 33rd team. I understand why he's doing it. He's doing it for recruiting purposes, but it's like, okay, like let's see what that looks like, because there are lots of really good qualified coaches at this level. There are qualified personnel people at this level. And the challenge with the players is different when you're dealing with 18 to 22-year-olds versus 22 and up. So like this whole idea out there, and I've even like noticed like NFL fans carry themselves with an arrogance about it, which is insane because all you're doing is sitting on the couch versus somebody else who's sitting on the couch and enjoying college football. You know what I mean? But it's like this, like, well, that's a lower level of the game. It's like, that doesn't mean the people at that level are less qualified. Like that doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that coach at that level, like, it's a different job. You know what I mean? Like,
totally
it's a
different
different job. And so, like, that person may be as good a football coach as you are, but he can't do as much schematically because he's got a 19-year-old running it. And what you're going to find out is when you get to that level and you try to do something that you were doing with a 30-year-old with a 19-year-old, it's not going to work, you know? And so, like, there's all of these nuances to the different levels of the game. I mean, I think there are probably some high school coaches out there that would be plenty capable of coaching on higher levels, you know, that just their career path took them to the high school level and they're great at what they do. And what the challenges in coaching a 16-year-old are different than coaching the challenges in coaching a 20-year-old, you know? So, like, I think that's part of what you're facing now. The interesting thing to me was not, and TCU's got more talent than North Carolina,
100%.
Right? And so, like, that's part of it. Like, that we should not dismiss that. North Carolina is bringing in 70 new guys, and this is not the NFL. You know what I mean? Like, when you're bringing in 70 new 20-year-olds, like, it may be a little challenging to get all those guys on the same page and up to speed.
Right.
You know, I think, and I think like Deion Sanders, like his first year at Colorado, that's why that first year was so sideways, was because they tried to do the same thing, right?
This year, the MMQB is playing on Yahoo Fantasy, and you should too. Whether you're a first-timer or a veteran creating your millionth league, I know that Yahoo goes back with me all the way. That was my first fantasy football league. It is my only fantasy football league. When it's time to round up all my best friends from high school to get our league going, it's a standard thing. We all log into Yahoo. We all draft together. And with the season kicking off on September 4th, now's the time to start playing on Yahoo Fantasy Football, which offers so many fun ways to compete. It's not just your classic leagues anymore. You want to play instantly with friends? Try the new Draft with Friends mode. You want more ways to play? Try the brand new Yahoo Fantasy Guillotine League, where the lowest scoring team gets eliminated weekly until there's only one team left standing. Do you prefer the classics? Like we said, get your old crew together, head back in, and make a private league. No crew? No problem. Just join a public league. That's the easiest way to play. You can play now at yahoofantasy.com/MMQB. That's yahoofantasy.com/MMQB.
The thing that got me was how Bad News Bears, and I'm going to date myself with that reference. Do you get that
No
one?
way. I love Bad News Bears.
How Bad News Bears they looked in the third quarter. It was like that third quarter was as big a bleep show as I can. I mean, it was like, so they had the first play. I think the first play from scrimmage in the second half was a 75-yard touchdown run, right? Then I believe Carolina went 3 and out. Then on TCU's next offensive series, they were in 3rd and 20 and threw it right down the seam for a first down. So in 3rd and 20, the TCU converts. Then the play after that, after they convert the 3rd and 20, 28-yard touchdown run untouched. The running back no one laid a finger on the running back, right?
Yeah.
Soon thereafter, then you have a 37-yard fumble return for a touchdown. I mean, like, so that third quarter, and then the quarterback goes out. Was he hurt? Was he not? Whatever. Then Brad Johnson's son comes in and looks pretty good.
That was Brad Johnson's son?
Yeah, Max
Holy
Johnson.
shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
By
so
then I had the audio off.
He played at LSU and Texas A&M. I mean, he's one of these guys. I think he's probably in his 7th year, you know, but that's Brad Johnson's son.
That's awesome. I love Brad Johnson. He's a great guy.
Yeah. So, I mean, anyways, but it's interesting, like, because that was the thing that was kind of like jarring about it. For me, it wasn't that they lost. Like, I thought they'd lose. For me, what was jarring about it was like, they come out of that half, they're down 20-7, and they puked all over their shoes.
Yeah.
You know? So I'll be interested to see where this goes. He's still up to a lot of his same tricks. Like, do you see the depth chart thing?
Yeah. And that's kind of what I wanted to get into.
But that's not just for the media. That's the depth chart they gave the scouts.
The scouts. Yeah.
And that's the thing that really, do you understand like what you're selling the kids on? Like, you are selling so you're going to be the 33rd NFL team, but you're going to treat the 32 teams like crap.
Yep.
Like, do you know who does it? You know who never did that? Who
I
never
mean,
acted that way?
every other college
Nick
coach.
Saban. Nick
Yeah.
Saban.
All of them. They
Nick
want.
Saban. Like if you talk to NFL scouts, like they would tell you how they'd be treated like royalty at Alabama.
Oh
Like
yeah.
they would come back like talking about what's the best spread press box spread in the NFL. Like maybe Dallas is way up there. Dallas is really good. What would you say?
Dallas, Philly. Philly's a good
Philly.
one.
Yeah. So that like whatever that is, like Alabama's the equivalent of that for an NFL scout as far as like them walking in, like you treat it like royalty. You get to meet with whoever you get to want to meet with. And you know why Nick Saban did that? Because Nick Saban knows that every kid he brings into his program comes there with the goal of going there.
Yes.
And so I'm going to do everything I can to accommodate these guys. So they're going to have a good experience here. So they're going to be encouraged to draft my players. And like doing that that makes no sense. Like, what are you doing? I don't know. I mean, and if you want to be the 33rd NFL team, a good start is to treat the 32 teams, the actual 32 teams, a little bit better than that.
Well, so for those of you who don't know what Albert's referring to, so we in the media get a depth chart, and scouts, they get a depth chart when we go to games. And so we know first, second, third string. And, I think a lot of it's for broadcasters if they have to immediately, and they have their own charts too, but if they have to immediately recall something, or if a center goes down, someone else is coming in. He handed them completely blank depth charts. And I thought it was funny because before the game, Pete Thamel, who's a great college football reporter for ESPN, had the depth chart and was showing people the depth chart. But he also said, like, okay, I did talk to the NFL scouts who are here, and there's maybe 2 players on this roster, North Carolina's roster, that will play in the NFL. And there's like 19 at TCU. And so for me, I don't understand the way that he is approaching this. Like we said, you come in with a lot of hubris, you piss off a lot of other college coaches. And I heard that plenty this offseason, where it's like, just wait and see what this is like. Because Bill was one of those guys who would say like, oh, what do you got? Like Southwest Louisiana this weekend, I have to play the Chargers. And now you come down into this arena and TCU's the real deal, and they'll beat the brakes off you. And I think the idea that I could come in and do it my own way, and then to have this massive gathering and to be so deflated, accidental word choice there. It was incredible to me just to see. It was. I heard the word deflated coming out and I was like, uh-oh. But it was like, how do you, I'm guessing you're going to come back to it. Like North Carolina is going to be 8-4 this year, or whatever it is, 7-5. They're going to be fine. They're going to go to like the Cheez-It Bowl. But I think we all learned an important lesson. And the last thing I'll say about it is this. My favorite part of the broadcast was, outside of the embarrassment of guys like Pat McAfee saying, oh, I'm picking North Carolina because Mike Lombardi's my friend on the pregame show. It's like, really? This is what analysts are doing now before games and whatever. That's a separate, that's like
the Desmond Howard school of predictions, I would say.
We go from the great Lee Corso.
Desmond Howard, who all of a sudden said Texas isn't very good after what happened on Saturday. It was an interesting change in opinion there.
We go from that to, by the third quarter, there was no Belichick angle remaining. None. There was nothing that Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit could talk about related to Bill Belichick. So we get deep into this story about a TCU kid who was so infected with poison ivy that no one could go near him, and he practiced in a beekeeper's suit for a week. And like, God bless everybody on that ESPN production crew for having that ready to go. like under the slightest chance that Belichick was a non-relevant factor in this game. But like, I just looked to my wife in the third quarter and I was like, we're talking about fucking poison ivy.
Oh yeah.
That's what we're talking about right now. It's Bill Belichick coaching a college game, and we're talking about a kid. And Kirk Herbstreit's like, oh, even the mention of poison ivy makes me itchy. I don't like it. And it's like, this is what we're talking about in the middle of Bill Belichick's
first of all, I'm with Herbie on that.
Oh, for sure.
I got poison ivy on Nantucket like 3 or 4 years ago where my eyes were swollen shut. And then my son got it. My son got it like last year to the point where we had to take him to urgent care. And like, I honestly, I felt so freaking bad for him. Like, just look, it was hard to look at him, you know? So poison ivy is no joke. Take proper precautions, everybody out there. But I mean, like, also like big shout out to the producer who was probably really afraid that story was going to die in the vine. And got to get it in there, right?
I know. He's like, we prepped the poison ivy thing and we brought it home.